Hey!
Hello.
What's up?
Welcome to night number 3 of Met Comedy Night, stuck inside for 6 more months of summer comedy extravaganza. We got an incredible double feature for you tonight. We're doing shows all week to raise money and such for the Maryland Ensemble Theater. You can always support the Maryland Ensemble Theater by going to marylandensemble.org/donate. The link is right in the description of this video. But we're going to keep things rolling tonight. We've got 2 shows for you tonight. Our very first show, a sneak peek for all you little peeping toms. Get a peek at the Comedy Pigs. They've got shows coming up September 11th and September 18th. Full-length comedy shows here on the Comedy Night channel. That'll be twitch.tv/MetComedyNight over here on Maryland Ensemble Theater's Facebook page. Those shows are coming up September 11th, September 18th at 9 p.m. But tonight, we're dropping into their rehearsal. They're going to give us a little sneak peek at some of the improv that they've been preparing for us and for you. And then right after that, we'll be joining Stephen Craig right here, the host of Over the Hump, Met Comedy Night's Over the Show. But this morning show is happening after dark, so who knows what'll happen. But let's get rocking and rolling with the Pigs. Let's get right into their rehearsal. Comedy Pigs, how you doing?
Where's the sneak peek?
Hello. Welcome to our rehearsal. We are the Comedy Pigs. Every Wednesday night we get together and we practice. It'll be funny for you. So we're just going to keep doing what we were doing during our practice. This is you kind of stepping in, walking through the doors of what happens at a pig practice. Thanks for joining us. Glad you could be with us tonight. We're practicing a game we call Scenes from a Hat. So I hope you enjoy it like we do. So pigs, Scenes from a Hat. The pigs have never, I've written these down myself. They don't know what these are. They're hearing them for the first time. Wrong things to say at a eulogy. Wrong things to say at a eulogy. Matt.
Yeah, it looks like the dearly departed there has some broccoli in his teeth.
Get it out.
Sonny.
I, for one, am so glad this asshole is dead.
Rob.
I was told there would be hors d'oeuvres. Anyone else told that?
80.
I am so gonna miss Mr. I'm just gonna really miss this guy here. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Thomas, again, this is wrong things to say at a eulogy. Thomas.
Oh, man, just a terrible thing about old Peter. Really sad. It's just, he just borrowed like $100 from me like Thursday. So just wondering who's going to pay now that he's dead. Just like, did they read the will, or like, I'm gonna get the 100, you know?
All right. Moving on to the next one, Scenes from a Hat. Bad wishes to ask a genie. Bad wishes to ask a genie. Molly.
Okay. First, I would like to know the future. Second, I would like to have a milkshake. And 3, I would like you to come back in like 5 minutes. Can that be my wish?
Thomas.
For my first wish, I want to have the longest penis in the world. Hey, it's still 1 inch. Oh, everyone else's is smaller.
Rob. Rob.
So my third wish. Damn, I wish when we're here to see this. Oh shit! Oh.
All right, our last scenes from a hat will be things you can shout at a football game, but not in bed. Things you can shout at a football game, but not in bed. Thomas.
Come on, you got to double team him.
Rob.
That's not the tight end I was looking for.
All right. Oops. Hold on a second. Sorry, I got a little mouse problem here. Katie.
Come on, it's wide open out there.
Ollie.
You can't miss those. This is your job. You get paid to do this. God, do your job. Just do your job.
Matt.
Well, you could have drove a dump truck through that gap.
Really want to end on that one, but everybody seems so eager. Sonny.
Yeah, we're dealing with a bunch of overpaid prima donnas here. I'm not satisfied.
Going, and the hay is in the barn.
Rob.
You know, I've seen 5 men do the same thing. God.
Man, his brother and his dad are way better at doing that than he is.
And that's where we'll end. Scenes from a hat. Scenes from a hat. All right, another game we've been working on. We'll let you sneak peek our work on it. Is called Chain Call. It is a game we developed because of the Zoom format. And it will be a series of Zoom chats that will, if you're watching, you know, we're going to need a suggestion. Your location could be your favorite food, could be favorite phrase, it could be anything. If you think of a suggestion, type it into the chat now. And what will happen is 2 people will start a Zoom chat with your suggestion, and you'll see how it kind of goes. It continues on in several subsequent Zoom chats that hopefully tell a story. This is more of kind of a medium form, or what we call long form game. Kind of tells, we follow a story that the pigs make up, you know, just on the fly from your suggestion. So that's what we're going to do. Stephen, Kevin, in our booth, we have any suggestions coming in?
Oh boy, are we about to? Do you have a suggestion, Carly? What are we looking for is our suggestion.
All right. So Thomas
wait.
There we
Molly.
go. Spaghetti pie. We've got a suggestion.
Spaghetti pie.
Or waffles.
Waffles or
Pancakes. There you
pancakes.
go.
They're very food related. Tuna casserole.
See, they're all coming in.
What a
delay.
yes, all food suggestions.
I like
but,
I like spaghetti pie. That's perfect. Let's go with
pie.
that.
Oh, there we go.
So, Thomas and Molly are starting, and your suggestion is spaghetti pie. Let's watch Chain Call, see what kind of story the pigs make up for us.
Hey, Martin, are you there?
I am.
Great. I am so happy to meet with you. I'm real excited. So what are you thinking? What do you think for Grandma's birthday? What do you want to like leave on her doorstep? I love this idea of just like a surprise meal for her. What are you thinking?
Well, she is turning 108. And she's been all over the world, so we got to have culinary delights that will bring back those memories. Since she's kind of losing them and all.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, first of all, we got to get right down to her roots. Growing up in Italy, where they have pasta.
Okay.
But I didn't want to, throw away all of her sweet ideas from living in Georgia. So I decided we combine them. We make a Frankentonian dish, if you will. And I was thinking a spaghetti pie.
Huh.
Like you make the crust out of spaghetti.
Okay.
Fill it with cherry pie filling.
Okay.
Goods. Then I don't know. I was just I don't know these. I don't know.
Martin, this is why you are my favorite cousin. You always come up with the best ideas.
Oh, shucks.
I'm gonna call my cook friend right now and get him on the line and see what he can do for us.
All right, Patricia. I'll keep thinking of more ideas.
Thanks, Marty. I'll call you as soon as I know what's going on. Okay.
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 Rootin' and tootin'.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Butcher Bill. Butcher Bill, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, my friend? How are you?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. How's your family? How is everyone?
Deported. But otherwise, okay. We're okay. I'm still here. I got a green card. I'm still here. I'm making the food,
Bill, so I've got, you know how you did my sister's baby shower?
Oh, yeah, the bambino. Yeah.
It was so great. Your catering was awesome. And I know that this whole lockdown situation must be horrible on your small business. So I came up with this idea that my elderly grandmother is turning like, I don't know, 140 or something like that. Like
that's old. We're gonna see the food. She's not
insanely old, and we can't obviously be near her. Like, so we want to leave food for her on the porch. So my cousin, who's a friggin' genius, like he works over, I don't know, doing something for the New Yorker or whatever.
Okay,
but
smart guy. Yeah, I got it.
He's a smart guy. He came up with this idea to do a spaghetti pie.
Hey, spaghetti pie. That could be terrible, or that could be genius.
I'm thinking it could be genius, Bill.
I like a spaghetti. I make a spaghetti. We do spaghetti. But the pie, I'm not so good with. I need to call my pie guy.
Okay, Bill, I'm trusting you on this, okay? I need like a quote, and I really want to get this done. Like, I think this spaghetti pie is really what my elderly grandmother needs, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I was working on getting my family back, but this is more important. You're right. I give you a call.
Way more important, Bill. Way more important.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. I get back with you.
Spaghetti pie.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bill. You're the best.
No problem.
I'll check in soon.
Hey, no problem. Hey, where is my pie guy number? Hey! The pie guy! Hey! It's your old friend Bill. Hey!
Butcher Bill! I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. And you're sore eyes for a sight. Yes, my friend. Well, I got a proposition for you. I know you're a culinary genius when it comes to the pies. I have a pie.
If there's a pie to be made, I am the pie guy.
The pie guy. That's how I have you in my phone, the pie guy. Anyway, so we're going to make the pie crust out of spaghetti, and you're going to fill it, the spaghetti pie crust. I know.
Spaghetti pie.
Spaghetti pie. We could be onto something here. We could make money.
God damn it, man. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it sounds out of this world. You're a genius. Yeah. So were you in?
Of course I'm in, Bill. Me and you, buddy. We are going to be spaghetti pie pioneers.
Yeah. Because the old lady, she about to die. So we gotta put it together. I'm gonna send you my pie crust.
Okay, yeah. You send me the pie crust, and I'll go ahead and take care of the rest. Now, wait a second. So what you're saying is there's an old lady. Now, are we killing her with the pie?
No, my friend. She's gonna die eventually anyway. She's very old.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Back in the day, we used to do those things for each other, so I just wanted...
It's a Zoom call, probably being monitored somehow, but okay.
Okay. Just a friendly spaghetti pie.
Yeah, just edible. Okay, my friend. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Ring.
Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and call the son.
Yeah.
Hey, Skylar.
Hey.
I've been trying to think of more food ideas, and it's not going well.
I think I might have something for you. Yeah.
What do you mean? It's doing it with the pies?
On how to make a spaghetti pie. You may not know this about me, but I am the pie guy.
What?
Yeah. All these years we knew each other, and you didn't know that I was the pie guy.
I had heard so many things about the pie guy, and I had no idea.
It's not something I broadcast a lot, you know. I'm already inundated because I'm so popular, so I kind of like to keep my personal and my business separate. You know?
I feel you. Well, yeah, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking for your grandma, I can make her a spaghetti pie that will be the best thing she has eaten in her entire life, her entire long life.
I knew you would. I knew that was going to be what you were going to say. I mean, she couldn't go to the grave without having this. Is what I'm telling everyone now.
So, just so we understand, you don't want the pie to kill her.
No! I want it to be the best thing she'll ever have, ever.
And then she could die because it was so good.
Yeah, but she has to eat it and acknowledge that it was good. Minimum.
In order for it to count.
Right, yeah. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't call you the pie guy.
My reputation's on the line now. I'm going to get on that for you. And Grandma is going to love her spaghetti pie.
Oh, thank you.
Let me get to it.
All right.
And scene. Good job, everybody. All right, Pigs, great. Thanks for making up spaghetti pie. Now I'm kind of hungry.
Delicious.
I went and checked the refrigerator halfway through.
No spaghetti pie.
Yeah.
I was going to add tuna casserole as the next one.
Ooh.
Ooh. Branching
Someone
out.
had said that. Yeah.
We got these two shows coming up. Thanks for whoever's joined us for their sneak peek into our rehearsal, our practice that we do every week, almost virtually every week of the year on Wednesday nights. We're glad you could hop in and take a look. This is some of the stuff we're working on.
Thank you for coming by.
Bye.
See you at the show.
Right. Thank
See you at
you,
the
Comedy
shows.
Pigs.
Thank you, Comedy Pigs.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Comedy
And hey, if
Pigs.
you're watching at home,
Wait a minute. Hey, what?
Whoa.
Hey.
Hey, don't you change that dial. We're not going anywhere. You can keep making that spaghetti pie at home. Don't you close your browser tab. Got a whole nother show coming right around the corner. That's right. It's Over the Hump, Met Comedy Night's own morning show.
After Dark.
Oh, traditionally hosted by Stephen Craig. And
That's me.
We're keeping the tradition alive tonight. Stephen, he will still be hosting the show.
Yeah. I'll host the show. And you know what? Is there anything that you need to say on the?
I just want to remind people while we're here, while you're watching, whole week of shows we're doing at the Maryland Ensemble Theater. So please, if you're watching, go ahead and make a donation to marylandensemble.org/donate. We got the link in the description on Twitch. It's in our About page. Go ahead and support the theater that way. Generally, a ticket for a show costs about $10 to $12. That's a suggested donation price for. And if you like, you can also subscribe on Twitch. You can follow for free, and that'll tell you when we're going live. But if you subscribe, if you get a paid subscription, you'll get access to special shows behind the scenes. You'll also get access to the Met Comedy Night Discord going up at the end of the week. That will be a place where you can talk and chat with performers, other Met Comedy Night audience members, like building a whole community right there. Support the theater, support the Met Comedy Night Twitch channel. Indeed, helps the theater.
Yeah, thank you very much for filling all that in for me, because I actually updated the title of this show to Over the Hump After Dark.
Oh,
so
time to change over,
we should go ahead and change it over then,
all
if that's the title.
Yeah, let's do that.
Here
let's close our Zoom window so the pigs can rehearse.
Bye, piggies. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Over the Hump After Dark, a very special edition. You know why? This is not the morning show edition. It is it's the night show. We're gonna talk about we're gonna get down and dirty, talking strictly comedy. All right, and you know what? On Over the Hump, in case you haven't joined me, Stephen Craig, before, what we like to do is we like to talk about the before times, the good old days where people could gather together and laugh together. And now we're doing it virtually, so we like to talk about the inspiring, talk about the laughable, talk about the collaboration. And we do that by having people call in and share stories, which we'll do in the second half of our program. But let me introduce to you my guest, the founder of Met Comedy Night, the man himself, the legend, the very funny, and also got sunglasses on, Kevin Cole, everybody.
Hey.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining me in the After Dark edition. So normally I have my guest on a Zoom call, and we don't share the same space. But we're in phase 3 now, almost. And also, with it being After Dark, I figured why not have you right next to me?
Give a special shout out to the people who are still watching on Facebook. Everybody else who left after the pigs ended. Come on. The rest of you who are still here, you're the real fan. Oh, Hump.
And you know what? I actually just clicked on to stream directly to my personal Facebook page as well. So if you're just joining us there, it's special Over the Hump Met Comedy Night Extravaganza, inside for 6 more weeks of Summer Edition with my guest Kevin Cole, and we're talking about stories. And I specifically about artistic collaboration, and we're sharing that with our audience to let you know how important the artistic community is to our audience and people performing. So, Kevin, you've done a lot of funny things, and you've obviously, I just said that you founded the Met Comedy Night at the Maryland Ensemble Theater. Did that have anything to do with this annual that you were involved with?
Well, I'd say the annual not entirely fairly separate. I also, but I don't, I don't really founder.
Yeah, I don't really know
of
your
Matt
job
Comedy
title
Night.
at all. So
I call my adopt me.
oh,
But here's the thing,
co-founder
here's the thing
slash
why
artistic
here's
director.
Here's why founder. Basically, long time at Comedy Pit. We had Oak.
We're having trouble with your microphone.
I
We had
might
the
not-
Comedy Pigs.
I'm not speaking directly.
We
into
had
it,
Okrit.
and we had the Last Hurrah,
And The Last
which
Hurrah.
was the show that, which was it / is the show I run, kind of tied in with that. But we had these 3 separate shows happening all on their schedule. It would be got every
Conceived it
and
into one
did
idea.
Comedy Friday. Last Hurrah to close out every month. Second one. I don't really consider founder because
Brought it
I
together.
I'm more
Sheepdog of Met Comedy Night. Right here. Please, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if this microphone ever drops. I have no idea why this isn't working, but we shared a microphone 2 nights in a
When
row.
you see that still going in. Who's Mike? Is it me or Steven or is it both of us?
It's Kevin. It's my guest. You're probably doing something really sexy with your mouth that's forcing the audio to cut out. It just can't handle you. It's the sunglasses maybe, or mustache, or how humble you are by not calling yourself the founder of Met Comedy Night. So yeah, all these things were already existing and you brought them all together, and then it seemed like that grew the
There's a
audience
connection.
for it.
Says, keeps dropping Kevin. It's it.
Keeps dropping Kevin.
Look, let's just move the mic to the. Right. We're getting this late night.
We're getting this late night edition off and rolling. This is not the first time that we've shared a microphone.
That's right. We did it the first 2 nights of this thing. We'll do it the 3rd night too. Why not? Hey, that's why After Dark edition. Anything can happen. It's gonna get crazy tonight. Anyway, what I want to say that I was saying earlier is I don't necessarily consider myself the founder because we had 3 comedy shows. We had Comedy Pigs, we had Okrit, and we had The Last Hurrah, and they were all happening on their own separate schedule. And I said, what if we did it every Friday night and on a rotating basis? So I don't really think I founded something so much as I took something that already existed and I grouped it together. I pulled, it's like Walt Disney isn't the founder of Marvel. Bought it.
Oh.
But I did not buy anything.
Well, truly an artist with no money here, my guest, Kevin Colt. Now, I actually have a story to share about Kevin myself. And this might be why I thought, about you specifically. It's the first time I actually met Kevin. It was the annual Live was a show. So this was one of the shows that was constantly in rotation. I mean, the Maryland Ensemble Theater has been around for longer than I've been alive, I think. Anyways, so comedy.
How old are you?
I'm 28. Or maybe it's the Comedy Pigs. Oh, okay. It's the year that my girlfriend and Kevin's sister was born. So, anyways, the first show that I saw was the annual Live, and Kevin had written this show with a lot of other comedians, and I more or less drove in from out of town, and this is the first time I met any of Carly's family, and then I got here 2 hours before the show and then saw this show. Do you remember that show, Kevin?
Annual Live, of course.
there was a specific time where I had to interrupt the show with a particular line, and then there was another time.
You remember that part? Because I do not.
I remember there was like I was a plant to say a line. I forget that line because I actually forgot it the second night. I was like, oh shit, I've got this line. I'm
never working with this guy again.
But there's a different part, a scene with you and Carly. Do you care to elaborate what the scene was?
We had a couple scenes together. She was in the whole show. But I think what you might be referring to are our big act.
Yes.
Carly and I, thanks to our, can I
Yes.
move this close? I just feel like I'm leaning over, and I just want to give you a little kiss on the cheek. And I don't think the COVID committee at the theater would be thrilled with that. I'd get a write-up. But so Carly and I, we had a special, a big act, a duet, if you would. Carly, do you remember? She remembers. So we grew up with our father and our mother too. They were both there, and
Nice.
it was. But that's not to say. And so we did this act, this big act, and growing up with our father, he would listen to the musical stylings of Meatloaf. You may know him as the artist, a musician. Specifically his Bat Out of Hell album. Now, Dad had a good appreciation that translated through me of really only listening to the Meatloaf albums that had compositions by Jim Steinman, who wrote all the good Meatloaf songs. Any good Meatloaf song you hear, Meatloaf did not write himself. Meatloaf is really just a vessel for the musical stylings of Jim Steinman. And on the Bat Out of Hell 1, there's a track called Paradise by the Dashboard Light. You might remember it as the song about two kids trying to hook up after prom or wherever in the backseat of a car. And it's I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. And we did this once at karaoke at the Mets Beach Retreat.
And it was a hit, right?
It was a hit. It was incredible because Carly's got the voice of an angel. And I can do a good enough character voice to make people think that I'm actually Meatloaf. And so we did, and so it kind of became our big act. And our big act is in the thing we did one time at karaoke and then did one time or two times for a live audience during the show. But yeah, I think that's the big, and your interruption was probably something at the end. I don't remember what it was, and it probably wasn't really this, but I like to think in retroact we'd just have somebody in the audience that was you who'd just be like, "That's disgusting! They're siblings! They're blood relatives! They can't sing that song together!" And then you light the building on fire out of protest.
I have to clarify. No, I didn't have any interaction during that particular act. I had a random line much earlier, and then later I had to pretend to carry Carly off to Italy because we were going to go study abroad together. And
But in the play, in the course of the play, she was going to Italy to become a nun, I think.
Yes, it was written that she was to become a nun, and I think there was a line earlier.
Which makes it even funnier that she sings a dirty song. That's comedy 101, baby. Make a nun, you make them sing a song, and it's funny. Here's an idea for a play. A bunch of nuns find out that all the other nuns have died from like food poisoning or something, so they hide the bodies in a freezer and then hold a cabaret to raise if they're a nunnery.
And then they have to make more nuns.
Yeah, they have to make more nuns. And it's dirty, which makes it funny because they're nuns. But here's an honest truth that I'll give you. That's my theater feedback, unsolicited. The Nonsense series would be a great dramatic, like Martin McDonagh style play if it wasn't just a cabaret of nuns singing stuff. If you look at the backstory that's relayed as the offstage story and those, I think they're Nonsense, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
The backstage story that's happening off stage is so much better than what the actual show is. Sorry, playwrights of that show.
So anyways, I am a person who has done particular pieces that were more intended to shock my audience, and so in the audience, I literally I met Kevin by I said, "Oh, hi, Kevin," as I'm being ushered to my seat in the theater, so I knew who he was before the performance had started, and I'd seen pictures of him. And then this Paradise by the Dashboard Light goes and happens, and I remember after the show thinking, "Wow, that was definitely something. I that's ballsy for sure." Just weird enough for me to really appreciate. and then of course Carly's parents are looking at me as to what my reaction is, and I'm just like,
they can't look at this, they can't watch the stage while we're doing that show. They're in a state of like shock and horror. They're like, well, let's just watch The Boyfriend.
Well, I was thinking like, what do you care what my reaction is? You should have your own reaction. I don't know. And I had thought at that moment, coming to the Met, this was my first experience with the Met, and the fact that you had the annual live show, which you wrote with all of your friends, a large house. They were very responsive. There's a lot of laughter in the audience, and I thought this is a great place to do that work. Great comedy, and so yeah. And then Kevin's been involved with the Met, and really, it seemed to me pushing the envelope of comedy since that time. That might have been 8 years ago now. I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been, I think, the summer of 2013. Yeah, and
7 years.
so basically, what had happened, what was going on in my life at that time, was I had just moved home from Chicago the summer prior. Do we need Dad to call in? Side of his side of how he trained me to like the good Meatloaf songs. In the summer of 2012, I moved back home. I just thought the world was going to end at the end of that year, and I figured might as well be with my family when the thing blows up. But I went to film school in Orlando, and then I went to Chicago for a year. And I took acting classes at the Second City. And those classes were 2 hours, I think, out of a whole week, and I was doing temp work that was driving me crazy. It wasn't like actively driving me crazy. Like it wasn't driving me like pull air out of my head crazy. It was like kind of just pushing me into a depression, and which was also aided by like the 3 months that I was unemployed, just filling out 25 applications a day to any job. And I went and I worked at the summer camp I went to growing up, Tremont Camps, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm so much happier here than I ever was in Chicago. And I was like, maybe, and this was a big takeaway for me, was even if the industry, the comedy world is like, oh, you've got to go to Chicago, you've got to go to New York, you've got to go to LA. And I went to Chicago and I was not happy there. And I was like, if I can do what I love somewhere in a community that enables me to do that, and it's not like Chicago didn't enable me to, but I was also working 40 hours a week at this awful draining job, and like any TV gig or something in Chicago, even with a film degree, you'd have to have like 3 years of experience because it's a major city. And so I moved home. I started working at Fox 45 with almost no experience. Well, no like on the record experience, but I had experience, and I've had more experience than the bar to hire is low at that station. And so when I was home, I had this idea that I really kind of spurned through because I also had gone through a breakup at the end of that summer, and I was like, I've got to throw my energy into something. And that's always when I really throw my energy into creative projects, because I've got to focus on something else other than being heartbroken. Yeah. And for the longest time, even when I was in school in Florida, I was fascinated with the National Lampoon and specifically the downfall of the National Lampoon and how it was like this great like humor magazine that then became like a straight to DVD like schlock generator. And now it's kind of on the upswing, it seems. But that's neither here nor there. And I thought, well, I'd like to create something that is like the National Lampoon, but doesn't become an awful like straight to DVD factory. And so we created the annual, which I wore the shirt today.
Ta-da!
This was our logo. I designed Humor Bi-Monthly, the annual, and I thought the name was funny, or the name ended up being funnier than it was. The name was just kind of not even supposed to be funny in any way. It was pretty much always at the same time, but I just thought annual meant something that happened regularly, not something that happens once a year.
Right.
So once I figured out what it was, I was like, yeah, that rules. But not intentionally. I'm not that smart. And so I created that, and we got pulled in so many talented people to work on this magazine. And so in working on this show or working on the magazine, and in the initial run, there was myself. We had Andrew Michaels, Scott Travers, my best friend from college, Brianna Haney, who is now. I'm gonna get the credit wrong, Bree, but it's because I announced this like last week. Is a contributing writer at the Onion now. Wrote for a magazine that I created. And that's the best, as that, like when you create something with like a community, that's the best thing that you can hope for. I never wanted to like be like, all right, you're the annuals person. Like if people start like, much like the Lampoon was kind of a jumping off point for people who started working for like Saturday Night Live and stuff in the 70s, like to find out that anybody who wrote, even if it's just one person, is now writing for the Onion, that's incredible. And just to be a part of that journey. And I don't claim any credit for Bree's talent. Bree's an incredibly talented comedy writer on her own. David Luna did all of the artwork for the annual. He was also a part of the live show. He came down and did like a exit interview with Carly when she left the show in the annual live, and David did interviews with different comedians. He interviewed Justin Roiland during season 1 of Rick and Morty before it got really big. So that's also a thing that's in our magazine. It's like an early interview at the start of Rick and Morty that David did. So many fun stuff, and I know I'm not naming everybody in it, and I feel like I feel awful just for getting half of the names right. But it was like, let's get my friends together. Let's write comedy. Let's put a magazine together and put it out every few months. M. Perper, my partner, was our editor at large. It made sure everything worked and was readable and all that jazz. So it was like this project that I poured all this energy into, and when we got around to doing the annual live too, that's when we started doing the Last Hurrah as a weekly show every Sunday at Met, before Met Comedy Night. Long before then, and it kind of spurned out of there. And now it's kind of a podcast network, and we've got now available on video cassette is really the main show that Tom Hewinger and Trevor Williams do, where they watch 90s movies that they saw at one point and have not seen in a long time since, and revisit them. That's really the peak show of the network right now.
Baby Lebowski, thanks for the explanation on Soggy Biscuit. We're not going to read that whole comment for our Facebook audience, but it is an After Dark comment here on Twitch. I don't know. Baby Lebowski, I think it's maybe talking, coming off of the talk about the song that you performed with your sister. I that's what I'm imagining. And
Baby Lebowski, if there's any reason for chiming in with the Urban Dictionary definition of soggy biscuit. Comments.
So, and as far as what is it? Direct to video cassette. Is that the name of the podcast?
Now available on video.
Now available on video cassette. One thing that Tom Hewinger told me, and it kind of crushed me because I was planning on doing this. He said he had rewatched the original Space Jam, and his new review of it, because he loved it as a kid, like I did. And his review of it on it for the podcast was, if you remembered loving it, don't rewatch it. And I was like, oh no. And so, yeah, now I'm like happy with my memory of Space Jam, and I don't feel like I should rewatch it.
So here's a story about Space Jam. Is during the summers, I still go back and I work at this camp that I worked at in 2012. I've worked there pretty consistently since then because it's my happy place. And we had a movie night evening program, and we watched Space Jam. And this is like a movie that our counselors picked out, our staff picked out for a bunch of high schoolers. And I was like, man, I would peek in and out because I'm the camp director, so I'm busy doing other things, and prepping to make sure everything's all set for future events. I don't need to be there to watch Space Jam with them. I'm in the kitchen popping popcorn, so we have enough popcorn for 35 kids. One
bag at a time?
Pretty much. And so every time I'd peek back in and deliver the popcorn, they would not look like it looked like they were tolerating Space Jam more than anything else. But hey, the Space Jam 2, we'll see.
Yeah, there's a new one coming out. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I hope it's great. And if it's not, then I'll just rewatch the first one. So we got a lot of the backstory from the annual, and then how that led into the beginnings of Comedy Night. What I really want to get at is if you can remember of a time within the last couple of years since I moved up here finally. That was 2 years ago, and Met Comedy Night became a regular thing. And Stage 2. There's been a ton of shows. If you're having at least one a week, sometimes two, from September to May or June. There's a lot going on, and you're performing, doing tech, and doing all kinds of things. So I want to hear about any particular crazy stories that might have happened behind the scenes during those times, right all the way leading up to March of 2020. Anything there?
Oh my gosh, I really don't know if I have too many like crazy behind the scenes stories from Met Comedy Night. The thing about improv is it all happens on stage for the most part. That's where all the crazy stuff happens. I mean, we really kind of committed to giving the last hurrah it's all this year. There was a point because we did it every week for a long period of time. I think like 2014, 2015 or so is when it started, and it was every Sunday for quite some time. And it was every Sunday at 7 for audiences that were mostly my parents and the family members of other annual Last Hurrah contributors like Io Duarte and Chris McQuaid, and anyone else really, Tom Hewinger, and it was like a small crowd of our family that when a performer would move away, then we'd lose that chunk of our audience. So I kind of lulled myself into a sense of like, well, we've got kind of a flow. We know how the show goes, and there are too many times I think where we phone it in. But it was a free show. It was also free. 97. It was just like a live podcast. Anyone could show up, and we'd make it work. But for a long time, we were just like, we're giving it our all every week. We'd sit down, we'd plan the whole thing. We did a Scientology episode early on, where we did like, we're Scientologists now, and we watched the Scientology documentary that's on HBO, and they have like a song that's called "We Stand Tall," and it's this big song that it's like their "We Are the World." but for Scientology, and we printed out the lyrics to
like
it.
a religious song.
Yes, and well, it's not like super religious. It's vaguely religious.
It's like rock
But
for
it's
Scientology.
right. It's like the church song, and we printed out the lyric sheet to it, and for the 5 people that were in the audience that night, like we passed it out to everybody, and we got like the audio recording enough. Got the audio recording of the song, and we were like, all right, we're all gonna, and we got everybody who, the 5 people in the crowd and all of us to stand up, and we sang this song. We sang the Scientology song, and it's just like, if you come to these crazy shows, like once the audience buys into the concept, it's so much fun. And we had, in that episode, we had Leah Seltzer, who was on My COVID Friend and Me. She's been very generous with letting us use her children in the shows for comedic effect. And Wilson came on basically as like a Tom Cruise type character. But Wilson was recently on stage in Admissions. He's about to start his senior year in high school. I guess it technically started this week. But he was probably in maybe like 6th grade or something when we did that bit, and he just he came on as this like narcissistic, like Tom Cruise-esque character, and just like took full reins of it in a way that, like, as the person running the show, as the host, almost like kind of frightened me when he was on stage, because I was like, I have not had any like pre-show talks with him outside of like, here's the bit that you'll do and you'll come on and do it at around this time. And I was like, we're going to have to hand the show over to him. Like, his character was so like controlling, and he was so good at it. I was like, all right, you're running the show now.
This makes me think of something. We had planned to use Wilson for a show. So this year I started getting involved with the monthly The Last Hurrah show as the new band with Carly. We were the new band is what we were.
This is an incredible story. But to quickly say real quick.
Tie up your other.
So we kind of got back into a swing since we were like, all right, people are paying for the show now. Now it's on Friday nights. Like, there's an expectation. We got to get back into planning it and figuring out what we're doing. And we've really committed to that hard. And like, prior to the end of theater as we know it, I opened the season. Last season was the season that Joker was coming out on the big screen. And so we did, I did a whole show as the Joker. I did a whole show, I had to flush Cats out of my system after getting obsessed with that movie, so we did a whole Cats episode. But this story that Steven's about to tell, truly incredible.
So I don't like this. Was perfect. My favorite audience member ever. Why is it that I don't remember his name? I haven't seen him in probably 6 or 8 months. But him and his wife were regulars to all of the Comedy Night shows, not just The Last Hurrah. And there was it was Wilson's birthday, and we were maybe gonna get him and work in the Sweet 16 birthday as part of the Last Hurrah show. And one thing or another happened, because it was going to be a surprise for him anyways. He ended up doing something else, so we had asked the audience, and we're planning to celebrate someone's birthday even if it wasn't someone's birthday. And it turns out yeah.
So, and because Leah messaged me prior to the start, like a month or so before the show, and was like, hey, Wilson's turning 16 on this day, and I think we want to have a big party for him at the Met. And it's like, I know you've got a show that night. Would you want to like roll it into the show? Like, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure we can find a fun way to make that work, where it's like the show is like a surprise party kind of thing. And then I think a week or so before, she was like, hey, I've been like listening to Wilson as was my son, and I feel like the big surprise party at the Met isn't particularly what he wants for his birthday or what he needs, so we're going to do something different. And I was like, Okay, we can make that work. And this was maybe like a week or two before the show that we had planned on doing as like the surprise show for like a month. And so we were like, well, and I said, you know what? We'll stick with the birthday theme and we'll make it work.
Well, and it just so happens that there was a birthday in the audience, and this gentleman comes up, and we start interviewing him about his birthday, and I don't know exactly how the question started. Maybe it was a different birthday that he had experienced, that he had attempted to buy a truck in another state, and just everything had gotten wrong from it was going to be a vacation with the wife and buying this truck, and then something went wrong with the tickets and the flight down there, and then they were down there. Something went wrong with the hotel, and then we were down there, and then the truck, there was something wrong with it. It had to get fixed before being driven back home, and then broke down again when it got home, and then it was just one thing after another for like 20 minutes, and you couldn't have written a better story for him to walk up on and explain. And I just so happened to be a juggler and also a clown. I worked as a clown with the Ringling Brothers, so I had the whole plan I was going to celebrate Wilson's 16th birthday. So instead, what I ended up doing in order to make this guy's exceptional birthday the year that it was current was to juggle for him. So there was a song that came on, and I juggled every single prop like around his face, and he is so expressive, like really, really, really into it, like not kidding around. And I also had a wagon that he hopped into, and I rolled him around the stage, and just so thrilled, and it was palpable. The audience was like totally digging it. This is a random thing.
Yeah, but also because we had the whole fake out at the beginning where it was like, and it wasn't even really that much of a fake out, except it was like I called Leah on the phone. I got her on speakerphone, and I was like, "Hey, where are you guys? Where's Wilson?" Like, "Oh, I decided to do something else." Like, we just played it off like that was when I found out for the first time. And we're like, this whole birthday show. To anybody here, is this anybody's birthday? And it was that guy's birthday. Like, totally coincidental that somebody came to our show on his birthday.
The night that we had
we had no idea. We had no idea that it was his actual birthday, or that he would be one of the best guests we've ever had.
Yes.
I mean, really, that's kind of the best like collaboration story is when the universe collaborates with you.
That was a night.
We've had a lot of good nights.
Yeah. Night though, when I say the one night that I was actually good, the time we did the cats, I had decided backstage that I wasn't going to talk, and I was only going to play with the balloon, and I was going to prep for my show Balloonacy and like practice with this prop. But then like the first time Kevin said something to me, I said something back, and I was like, oh no, I guess I'm the cat that just is really dumb when he talks.
Yeah, you became like Dumbo Jerry or something. I don't even remember your cat name.
Yeah,
I was Ticklebottom, the
Jerry.
talk show cat. And that show was so much fun because we had like a big group that came to the show, and they were just like coming to see some comedy. Did not know it was going to be cats themed, and I was backstage, and it was like a large group of like women. I was like, wow, I really hope they like the film adaptation of the Broadway musical Cats, because they are in for a wild ride tonight. I mean, the show starts with like Stephen and Carly playing music because they're in the band, and like any performance of Cats begins in traditional theater form, with the cats the actors in character coming through the audience costume, and that's how they get to the stage. And so I was up in the tech booth, and the way the tech booth is constructed in stage 2, you can crawl through it. It's not advised, but it's something you can do. And so I'm in full costume and makeup sitting in the booth, and as soon as the lights go on, I start like singing a song that I'm just making up as I go, while climbing through the audience, like over this group of people. And it's like, this is what you're getting tonight. Welcome to the last hurrah. And that's what's fun about the show, is it's a show that can really be anything at all, depending on what mood I'm in that month. You know, we did a whole show where I was the Joker. It can be anything like that. Oh yeah. We'll get to that. Just a note in the comments. But it's also like, personally, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do when Met Comedy Night comes back, because Last Hurrah has so much freedom. But I'm also producing Strange Times Indeed, our Thursday night show, and I'm like, can I do that live on Fridays? Because I'm so in love with doing that show right now. But a comment in the chat talk about when we had Brian J. Jones on. This was really our biggest guest of the show outside of the story you just told. I for the longest time in my life have been a big appreciator and lover of the work of Jim Henson. And so the Jim Henson biography by Brian J. Jones came out at a certain point in I'm not even going to try to remember the year. It came out. It's a great book. It's a long, in-depth book about an incredible man. And I go to the Barnes & Noble the day it comes out to pick it up. I think this was before the Curious Iguana opened, so forgive me. And we did try to get John Waters at one point. He sent us a video response because we sent him a video trying to get him on. But I went to Barnes & Noble. I pick up the book and the copy of the Jim Henson biography, and it's autographed. And I was like, I was like, oh, that's cool. I go to check it out. This is the day the books came out. It's literally the morning it comes out. It's one of the few times I've gotten up like early in the morning, gone and bought a book. And that's not a knock on books. It's just certain books pique my interest, but rarely am I I gotta read it. I gotta get it. And so I go to the Barnes & Noble and it's autographed, and I go and I check it out, and the guy's like, oh yeah, the author was in here. I was like, when did these get autographed? Like, was there an author event? Like, I totally would have shown up if I knew about it. And it was like, no, the author just showed up this morning and wanted to see him. Like, he just wanted to see the books like out in the wild. Right. Yeah, because he lived over in Damascus. And I was like, no freaking way. And I was like freaking out for a whole day. I was like, the guy who wrote the Jim Henson biography literally lives like 15 minutes away from me. And so I got on his website and I sent him an email and I was like, hey, I host this weekly comedy show. Do you want to come on and talk about Jim Henson? And he was like, sure, why not?
Sounds fun.
He came up, it was like the same time that the Sonic was opening up in Frederick. And his wife like loves like rando fast food places like that. So they were like, we waited in line at Sonic for like an hour before getting here because it was brand new. So like line around the block to get those slushies. Yeah, that was a big guess. We sent a video. We tried to get John Waters on, and he sent us a video back, politely declining. But it was cool. It's cool because he hasn't directed a movie in a long time. So anytime John Waters makes a video for you, it feels like you got the new movie.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to take this really quick to a commercial break and then have a little chat behind the scenes. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Life inside during the pandemic getting you down? Worried that there's nothing you can do to pass the time? No laughs left to be had? All gone crazy? Well, bam! Guess what? Met Comedy Night is coming to Twitch. Heck, it's there right now, and you can join us every week with shows from the Comedy Pigs, Oh Crit, Strange Times Indeed, Over the Hump, and more. That's right, follow us on twitch.tv/Met Comedy Night for all the laughter you need. Oh God, I don't think I can do this anymore. Oh, he's biting my butt. He's biting my, oh God, that's my hand. Oh my gosh, just kill me now.
And we're back.
Hey, keeping things rolling. Night 3 of Met Stuck Inside for 6 more months of summer comedy extravaganza. If you're watching us, we're on a quick break from Over the Hump After Dark. As you might remember, if you've been watching recently, Steven has been gifting a subscription to the Met Comedy Night Twitch channel every single night, and he's going to be doing that right now. So who knows? Wonder if it's going to go to somebody who's watching live or what. I don't know how it works. Oh, it did. It goes to somebody who's watching right now, and that random person, it looks like, is Barefoot52 in the chat. Barefoot52, congrats on your premium subscription. That's going to give you access to special behind-the-scenes shows. That's going to give you access to the Discord. You can chat on and off as much as you want with Comedy Night performers and Comedy Night communities. So welcome. If you want to get access to that, you can become a subscriber here on Twitch and join us during the fun. That's about it. Support the Maryland Ensemble Theater. Sorry, it's getting late, man. Support the Maryland Ensemble Theater. We've been doing these shows all week to support the theater. You can make a donation at marylandensemble.org/donate. Remember, the Maryland Ensemble Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit, so your donations are tax deductible. I don't think that counts if you do it through Twitch, but please do it through Twitch. Subscribe and donate. Why not do both? Why not subscribe and donate? And you can join us here on the internet for special shows. We'll be talking more and more about those fun things. I've got I produce. I said while we were doing Over the Hump. Of course, this is a break. That's why I'm not wearing sunglasses. But I produce Strange Times Indeed, one of our weekly shows, and your show Over the Hump is bi-weekly. But I think our host Cliff McAllister is probably going to talk about some premium content that he's prepping. That will, subscribers are going to get that kind of access to special things. He'll be talking about that tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, right here on the channel. We've got Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister tomorrow night at 9, keeping the fun rolling. And then after that, on Friday night, we're closing out with Okrit, everyone's favorite D&D themed improv group. They're going to be playing some games. I'm not sure what games yet, but I'll find out before Friday, that's for sure.
Rolling the dice.
That's right.
Rolling the dice. They will be. If you're watching on my personal Facebook page, thank you for watching. And you can continue to watch Met Comedy Night shows on Met Comedy Night on Twitch, twitch.tv/Met Comedy Night. And right now we just heard about the rest of our stuck inside for 6 more months of summer. Phase 3, Extravaganza, the comedy Extravaganza held every year at the Maryland Ensemble Theater. And then, next week when things get back to normal, there will be an Over the Hump show on Wednesday at 10 a.m. because Over the Hump is traditionally the Met Comedy Night morning show. This is just the After Dark series. Yeah. And Barefoot52 is really excited that he can post emojis now, and I saw some floating up, and that's another positive note about watching on Twitch and subscribing on Twitch. Hooray!
And Steven, you said you've got a guest lined up for next week. Are you prepared to reveal that, or is that something we should keep a secret? It's up to you.
I could reveal it right now, but I think we'll wait. I think we'll wait. Well, I know who it's going to be, and it's going to be really exciting. And what I will say, it is someone from the Accademia dell'Arte, which I studied in Italy. We studied Commedia dell'Arte together, and I'm a big fan of this person. So please come on in, tune on in, and let's hear some of those stories next week.
Steven, do we want to check back in with Over the Hump After Dark, see how those guys are doing over there? At Over the Hump After Dark. They took a break and then we went to commercial. Check in with it. After Dark. Steven, hey, I'm the host now. I got the thing. Hey, here's a fun fact. A late night fun fact for those of you watching at home. So that animation you just rolled is a stop motion animation that I built. Not to toot my own horn, but it's got that new addition there. First, it was just the hills, the humps of the hills. The new addition, you got that little booty in there. Here's a fun fact about that. that I saved for the After Dark one, and this for the few people still watching with us is a real treat for you all. That booty smack animation, that's the closest thing I've ever done to a self-portrait. Believe it or not, and I'm not into being spanked, but if you look at that butt, there's a little mole over on the bottom with like a little hair coming out of it, and I have one of those. Wow. I have a mole above my butt.
That is really exciting for me because I'll get to see that animation every time we do the show. But also, is the hand also yours?
No.
That makes a lot of sense.
I do not own any fingerless gloves, and I've got arm hair, but nothing as prominent as I illustrated in that. But
so we'll leave the spanker up to our own imaginations. Is what you'd say?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that's a fun fact that people who tune into your show might enjoy. They'll go, "Oh, is it Carly? Did somebody post? Is it? Oh, I think they're speculating about next week's guest. I thought they were speculating about the animation. I was like, no. But yeah, that's a fun fact. That's the closest thing I've ever done to a self-portrait. Really. I also just, I don't know. I've never been too interested in drawing people. It's mostly the hands is what holds me back. Hands are impossible to draw, and if I have to draw a picture of myself, I'm gonna have to draw a picture of myself with my hands in my pockets. That just seems lazy. So I might as well just make a image of my butt. Put it in the intro to your show. It's all about me. It's all about my butt, Stephen. That's what we get. That's the secret. For those of you still watching at 10:12 p.m., watching Over the Hump After Dark, those of you night owls joining us, wearing your sunglasses, watching your TV late at night, here's a secret that I'll tell you. I said Met Comedy Night, it's not about me. I'm not the founder. I'm just the sheepdog that put it together. But it's all about my butt. There are clues in every Met Comedy Night show about my butt. They're in there contractually. And if you put all the clues together, you'll find out an incredible secret. Just like the Beatles.
Well, so you just got to keep watching, collecting those channel points, and trying to answer the scavenger hunt. Thank you very much, Kevin, for being on with me as my first After Dark guest. And
can I say something to you?
To me?
Yeah, to you. So earlier you said that the first time you met me was doing the annual live, which is wild to me because the first time I met you, my first memory of meeting you is very briefly, and there's really no reason you would consider it a moment where you met me, was when you were doing Rabbit Hole. It was Rabbit Hole, right? Yeah. At, what's the name of the theater company?
Atlantic Stage. At
Atlantic Stage down in Coastal Carolina. And we went to see it on the Met Beach Retreat, and you were in it. And well, let's just say my sister had a bit of a crush on you, and you come popping out of the show in your Heelys afterwards, and you briefly like say hi to Carly. You have like a brief little meet cute. I think you two had met at some point prior to that, but this was also like Carly says that you met that day, so probably on campus prior to that, and then you met there, and I was in the vicinity of that interaction, so I count that as meeting you for the first time. Even though we never like shook hands, I was never like, "Hi, I'm my sister's brother," and well, I guess she has a crush on you. Like, but it I don't know if it was apparent that weekend or whatnot, but it was like, oh, there's a little something here, and so that's my memory of meeting you, even though we weren't like formally meeting. And then I guess, yeah, everything was really, I left. I don't go to school in Coastal Carolina. I went back home, and then you showed up for the show later. I was like, yeah, we'll just work that in.
So I guess he'd already seen me on stage and had positive thoughts, and therefore I could get worked into the show that you were writing.
Yeah, positive thoughts about you running over a child.
Right, because that's what Ravel is about. That's the character I portrayed. And what's really interesting, what's really interesting about this story is, so Carly and I did end up dating. We started dating a couple months later, and a lot of people that she worked with, where she was from, knew me before I met them. Like, there's the artistic director of the theater, Tom Hewinger, was there, and so like when I was coming to the Maryland Ensemble Theater, people were like, "Oh yeah, hey," and I was like, "What?" And then they would compliment me on this show, which I'm glad that everyone liked it. But I was like, you saw that too? All right, wow, yeah.
Here's a comment from Barefoot52 in the chat. It says, and then a few weeks later, she ditched her old man to go on a date with him being you. You're more important than Dad.
Yeah, I don't know why, and also I remember I think that date was there was supposed to be a dodgeball event, and you know, we ate some Italian food and then went to do this dodgeball event in the gym. That was supposed to be glow in the dark dodgeball, and the event sucked. It was fun to be there with Carly, and there was other people there. We had a great time, but it was like really lame. There's like they turned the lights off, and the balls are supposed to glow, but they only would glow for like 2 minutes, and the game lasts like 10. Like the first game, we're all done.
And in the event, you gotta have black light. This is Ag 101. Building a laser. Gotta have the only way it's gonna work. Watch basketball. Watching basketball in the hotel room. Well, yeah. That's it. I think you were wrapping it up.
Yeah, I was more or less wrapping up, but I really appreciate that story. Because I at the beginning of the show said my first impressions of Kevin, and then at the end of the show he says his first impressions of me. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Four people are still here. We might just keep going until we have 0 people. I'm kidding.
Myself. I don't hate myself that much.
Oh, we got 3.
It's like I end every day by whittling.
That's excellent. So one last thank you. Stay tuned to everything the Met Comedy Night is putting out online.
Let's back to Kevin. See if they'll put a nice broadcast.
All right, here we go. Nice button.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's the very end of night 3 of Met Comedy Night, stuck inside for 6 more months of summer extravaganza. You know, we are having some fun here tonight. We want to thank each and every one of you for watching this evening production of Over the Hump After Dark, as well as that sneak peek at the Comedy Pigs. Don't forget, the Comedy Pigs are going to be performing live Friday, September 11th and September 18th at 9 p.m. They're going to be bringing their short-form improv to you virtually. So make sure you tune in for those. Tune in tomorrow night. We've got Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister. That's our weekly paranormal call-in show. So if you've experienced anything strange or bizarre, please consider calling in tomorrow night. That always makes the show more exciting. Friday night, we've got Oh Crit, our D&D improv group. They're going to be closing out our week-long extravaganza. So we want to thank each and every one of you who are still tuning in at this late hour. Be sure to support the Maryland Ensemble Theater by going to marylandensemble.org/donate. The link is in the description of this video. It is also in the About page here on twitch.tv/metcomedynight. We've got plenty of premium things if you're watching on Twitch. Some more fun ways to interact with improvisers. It's really kind of built for live streaming. So if you're thinking about making the jump, do it. It's so much fun over here on Twitch. We got 67 followers, but we could get more. And if you subscribe, you'll get access to premium shows. You'll get access to our Discord, all sorts of fun things. So thanks so much for joining us. Steven, thank you so much for for running Over the Hump, your show, and bringing it to the stage tonight.
And, thank you to Met Comedy Night and the artistic director / potential co-founder, but too humble to admit. Sheep herder, Kevin Cole. And good night.